This is not a good book. It was not a good movie, and it definitely was not a good game. And Then There Were None, on the other hand, was an excellent book. It was an excellent movie, which yes, I have actually seen. But, what about the game? Well, let's find out.
And Then There Were None, published by Agatha Christie in 1939, and originally titled something horrible I'm not going to repeat here, which was actually retitled to And Then There Were None the following year. The very questionable nursery rhyme in which the original title is based off of, and is so central to the plot as a device for the story, later became known as 10 Little Indians, which was not much better than the original, but I guess objectively better? And, well, dem were the times, I guess. I don't know, man. Sometimes it feels like dem are still the times, but... Anyway, the video game adaptation was created by Aw Productions, and released for the PC in 2005, and was later ported over to the Wii in 2008. While the game designers were given some leeway to change certain plot elements of the story, such as changing the decidedly still offensive nursery rhyme to be 10 Little Sailors instead of Indians, and changing the identity of the killer, their much more ambitious plans for creating a game with a different killer per playthrough, which would have been a great idea, were ultimately rejected, forcing the player into a much more linear experience. They also toyed with the idea of modernizing the story, but ultimately decided to stay in the 1930s, stating that, in one of the more hilarious quotes I'd ever read, that updating the time period would be a futile attempt to attract an audience that really doesn't care anyway. Let's see, what else? The mansion in the game is modeled after Falling Water, a home designed by a famous architect named Frank Lloyd Wright in 1935, and I'm really just trying to kill time at this point because this intro feels like it is taking a freaking eternity to get through. Alright, come on. Alright, so basically you play as Patrick Narracott, who is tasked with ferrying these folk to a mansion located on Shipwreck Island, just off the coast of Sticklehaven. Yep, fucking Sticklehaven. Due to a case of mistaken identity, your boat is nefariously scuttled by an unknown ne'er-do-well, effectively leaving you stranded on an island during a storm with a bunch of murderers who are being murdered one by one by another murderer. But we don't know any of that yet. You know what, it's a great movie, just go watch it. Or there was actually also that episode of Family Guy, And Then There Were Fewer, which famously marked their official transition from the 1:1 aspect ratio to a widescreen ratio. It's shorter, it's funnier, it's more or less based off the same story, so maybe just go and watch that instead. Whatever. Either way, let's just get to playing this fucking game already. Alright, let's go, come on. Alright, finally, here we go. And oh no. Am I going to have to walk this slow the entire time? Oh, this is gonna be torturous. Oh no. Oh, thank goodness. You can run. You run when you double click. Oh man, that was almost a deal breaker. Phew, alright. So you start off by going down to the docks, you find that your ship has been scuttled means sunk by the way, and then you make your way back to the mansion.
Where he's going to sleep, I'll never know. Ethel won't like this one bit.
Oh boy. The basic controls are apparently a part of the game's quote and unquote puzzles. Puzzles such as opening the doors. That's their example. That is the chosen example of a puzzle in this game, is the action of opening doors. That is not a puzzle. That is just opening doors. Not opening doors with like secret codes I have to decipher or locks I have to pick like this is Splinter Cell. No, this is just twisting a knob and entering a room, which you have to do a lot in this game. Like a lot. I would argue it's most of the game. And oh, it's a pain in the ass, and it only works like 50% of the time. What a surprise. You know, unnecessary motion controls on the Wii have been a long time gripe of mine. Donkey Kong Country Returns is a primate example. Get it? And I think this is something I've actually talked about before, but that game was a fantastic game on the 3DS. On the Wii, however, it forces you to use this stupid wrist wiggle motion to do your barrel rolls. It's dumb, it's unnecessary, it's prone to failed executions, and overall, it's just annoying to have to do. Mario Galaxy is another fine example of a game that didn't need to have this forced motion control concept. Your spin move could have just as easily been mapped to a button. If anything, keep the motion control intact for a fun novelty option, but also give us a damn button. You know what this game is already missing? This is missing a Wii peripheral. We've got guns, we've got steering wheels, pads, and skateboards and tennis rackets. Why not a doorknob too? Well, today's your lucky day. Introducing the Wii Knob. Exclusively designed to enhance your And Then There Were None experience, capturing all of the action and feel of a real doorknob. You'll feel like you're really entering a room. So order yours today. But I only have so many doorknobs in my house, so supplies are limited. Alright, already I've determined that I have no desire to aimlessly wander around this map for hours, clicking on random things to hear purposeless dialogue.
A radiator. You can't have enough of them, really.
I don't know what's important to look at and what isn't. I'm just picking up seemingly irrelevant objects. I have no idea if I'll need them and when and where do I go? What do I do? Can I have a fucking clue?
Well, screw it. I'm just gonna follow a walkthrough.
And I am so glad that I did, because there are so many obscure things you have to pick up and or examine, and in weirdly specific orders, like this fruit press, for example.
It's a press. Looks like it can hold quite a large amount of fruit.
Or like helping this servant pick up this linen she dropped as if she's incapable of such a task herself, thank goodness you came along, and then coming back later to steal it for no reason. In fact, I think I'm just a kleptomaniac. Seriously, it seems like I'm just going into people's rooms and stealing their shit. Like, there have been no murders yet. I have no real reason to be snooping around or doing any of this. I don't even know if my boat was actually purposely sunk yet. It could have just taken on water through a crack that formed from a rock I didn't realize I hit, or... Oh. Nope. It was this guy. Yep, he did it.
Once a bent copper, always a bent copper.
Apparently, he knows my brother. Not very well, because he thought that I was him or something, and I guess they've got beef, so he just decided to scuttle my boat.
Copper. Right, Fred?
You're talking through your hat.
You believe this guy? He's talking through his hat.
Judges may have cause.
Alright, so after doing all of the things, the dinner bell rings, and all of the esteemed guests scuttle their respective butts on into the dining room. All except for me, as I was not actually ever invited to this dinner party to begin with. But naturally, I wanted to continue eavesdropping, and I do so in a most effective manner.
Aha! With my ear against the door, the conversation becomes quite clear.
Wine, Doctor?
No, thank you, Rogers. I never touch alcohol. Except for sterilizing wounds or instruments, of course.
I tried to collect some apples from an orchard on the island, but a bee stung me. I'm afraid I dropped the basket and ran. No need to apologize. I myself am dreadfully allergic to bees, wasps, hornets. I'm sorry to hear there are bees here. Oh, you must take care. There's all sorts of those bee house things. What do you call it?
An apiary.
Oh, I thought that was for monkeys.
Ethel.
And after that riveting conversation, I'm to continue skulking about, just gathering information and stealing shit from the kitchen. I'm definitely gonna need this turkey baster. No doubt this cheesecloth will come in handy later. And apparently, according to this walkthrough, there are batteries stashed in this sack of flour. Just need to use the metal scoop to get them. Okay, this doesn't seem to be working.
Did the game freeze? No, I can back out. This has got to be one of those puzzle-solving moments, right?
Do I hold down A? I have no idea what to do. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. So this seems to be a prevailing problem for people who play the game, and the recommended solution is to just keep trying, using wildly exaggerated scooping motions until it works. So Guess that's what we're gonna do. So, lately I've been playing a lot of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. Absolutely an amazing game, by the way. One of the best Zelda games I've ever played. And it's unfortunate because I think it's one of those games that sort of flew under the radar for a lot of players. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I just don't remember there being a lot of hype surrounding it. And like I said, it's a little unfortunate because I think it's an excellent game that deserves a lot more attention. It's just kind of like a classic Zelda adventure, you know, with the big main temples that are just big epic puzzle solving challenges. The boss fights are a lot of fun. There's a lot of mini dungeons, so you can find treasure in them. They're all like little mini puzzles. It's actually kind of an open world concept, which is really cool. Getting to the temples in the first place is kind of a challenge, and I don't know, it's just one of those games that really understands the concept of a fun, interactive puzzle solving adventure, you know? And then there was fucking none. This is not puzzle solving. This is an error in programming, and once again, what otherwise could have been a perfectly fine game is being plagued with unnecessary, flawed motion controls. And yes, I did try to use a scooping peripheral, but to no avail. Seriously, this is not a joke. I sat here for a literal fucking hour. A literal hour. Look, I have the footage. I have an hour of footage of this bag of flour, of me trying to scoop this stupid bag of flour. And why are there batteries in this bag of flour to begin with? Better yet, why am I going through a bag of flour? What made me think, oh, a sack of flour, I bet there's something in there and I'm gonna get it. And the only way I could do it is with this scoop. I can't just put my hands in it. Seriously, it just doesn't even make sense. And I'm going insane and I'm done. I'm gonna move on, I'm gonna keep playing the game and I'll come back to it later. Only if it's absolutely necessary. Which hopefully it won't be. But it will be. What am I doing? I'm leaving. I'm done.
Alright, so I just keep on keeping on, snooping along through other people's stuff and gathering a bunch of miscellaneous crap that doesn't belong to me, and oh man, some of this stuff is actually pretty hard to see. Like this pouch of tobacco, I would have walked right by that. And I definitely would have never seen this pipe stem. I mean, what the fuck, really? Later, we end up eavesdropping again, and we learn that the 9 guests invited to dinner tonight are actually all guilty of some form of manslaughter or murder, and that the mysterious host of this party, who continues to remain anonymous, is essentially calling them all to justice. A guest faints, and you fetch the doctor's handbag from upstairs, who is apparently now in your debt for this absolutely selfless act of heroism.
Thank you, Mr. Narracott. I am in your debt.
And afterwards, there's talking. So much talking. After the cutscene plays, you'll end up in this parlor room where you have to chat with all 9 of the guests.
Now, it's important at this point to pay very close attention to what's being said by the characters. Maybe even take notes.
Any... What?
Afterwards, you'll take the record from the gramophone, listen to another conversation, sit through another cutscene of Marston choking to death, presumably from poison, and once again talk to everybody in the room, again making sure to take very careful notes.
Did you never clap? You're on. What do you? Good. Do you?
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
What? Good evening.
And now it's back to snooping around, but this time it's nighttime, and I can't see shit. Seriously, I can't see shit. It is so dark in here.
It's really dark up there. I need a light source.
Oh, and apparently it's even darker upstairs, so dark that I need a flashlight. But the flashlight has no batteries, so back to the flower.
You know, I've beaten Demon Souls. I've beaten Dark Souls. I've beaten almost every Donkey Kong Country game in the franchise. I'm working on Tropical Freeze right now. And I could probably hold my own in a speedrun challenge for the first couple of the SNES. I've made that horrible jump in The Legend of Black Cat. Yeah, y'all know which one I'm talking about. And the list goes on. I could keep going. But nothing Nothing can prepare me for the greatest challenge I've ever faced in a video game. This bag of fucking flour. Guys, I tried. I just can't do it. I can't scoop the fucking flour. My adventure ends here. It's game over. If you want to play this game, play it on the PC. Or better yet, just read the book. The book is a lot more fun to play than this game is. At least on the Wii. Well, I opened right up to the first page. That's the page prior, and then there were none. Oh, I opened up right up to the first page.